I'm Amanda Simons. I'm the brand new studio operations manager here at Penland. And here we go. I'm going to go quick. I have a BFA in painting and also a BA in English, also an MFA in studio art and an MA in visual criticism. I like to do things in twos. I think that two things can become two bookends, and bookends are a thing that hold contents in place. I think that the narrative between 2 points is way more important than those bookends. So this is a story that starts at negative $108,305.22 and ends in a spoon. So since grad school, my art's been a combination of object making and also social practice. I'm not just interested in making things, I want to make things that take on a new life when somebody interacts with them. So how can objects tell a person to do something, or how can the meaning change after that interaction? I'm really interested in this. So my practice can look like a lot of things. Sometimes it's a skill sharing party. Sometimes it's just friends getting together to help each other out. Or sometimes like this, it's super framed in academia and it's picked apart and it's reconfigured and we talk about it. I grew up in rural mid-Michigan and my parents were postal workers. I'm the first person in my family to attend college or even to consider moving out of state. So after graduate school, I was left over $100,000 in debt because I had never been educated on how to do that. I was the first person doing this in my family. That's a lot of money. And after I graduated, I had no studio, I had no job, and in overcrowded San Francisco, we now have all these unemployed artists that are competing for the same 3 job openings. So I had this great idea. I could teach myself how to print by hand at home, and then I could ask the internet to help me pay my student loans, and this would buy me some time. So I launched a Kickstarter campaign. And for $300, I promised to make and mail a print each month to you for 1 year. And this would help me make payments, and I only needed 16 people to do this for the first year. And I ended up with 50 people backing me. So every month I made a print on my kitchen table, and I mailed it out to 50 different people. And after a couple of months, I got an intern. This is my friend Sean. He really wanted to learn printmaking, so I designed a really complicated print for us to work on together. And this was going to be a 50-layer reduction woodblock print. Each square was going to be a different color, and it's a pixelated image of my wedding cake, or in retrospect, my gay divorce cake. So I cut up some blocks, and I screwed them together, and I inked them up, printed a layer, and then we removed a block. We inked up the next layer, we printed the next layer, and this became a topographic record of this story that began to form. And I ended up with 42 really good prints. That was like the number that didn't have fingerprints on it and wasn't messed up in any sort of way. Every one of them looked a little bit different. And I filmed the entire process. Each color of the print, every time we sat down and inked up a new layer and pulled these prints together, I was filming it. I didn't quite know why at the time. So that's 2,200 pulls for folks doing math. The project became no longer about the print, but this really was about our time together. So I strung this all together into a video. If you're interested, you can look it up on YouTube. It's a cute little thing that's set to the trailer of 50 Shades of Grey. In the end, I found out that I'm not a printmaker. Through this process, I discovered that the thing was, to me, actually more beautiful than the print. So the thing was more beautiful than the print. The thing was way more beautiful than the print to me. So I started making things instead of prints. And these things started taking on a life of their own. They're about this big. They all have their own character. They're silly, serious, and they can easily become props and take on a new meaning. And then something really magical happened, and my 3D stuff just got a little bit more 3D. And so this is an object that articulates and spins, whose handles move, and well, I think it holds its own really well as a sculpture. It also begs somebody to interact with it. You have to be there touching it to really appreciate what's going on. Just sort of taboo for a thing sitting on a pedestal in a gallery. So this all made sense to me at this certain point, and I could see the next 4 pieces unfold after I made this one thing. But my practice has always been so strongly tied not to having studio access. Like, I'm making stuff at home. Having studio access, making a work like this, means that I've got access to really powerful equipment, really, really expensive machinery, and that feels funny to me. I'm not used to having that. I'm used to building something from nothing. I'm used to relying on the things I can carry with me. I'm used to doing stuff at my kitchen table. I'm used to sitting in my backyard and making work from scrap wood that some student left behind in whatever shop I'm working in that I don't have to purchase. Basically stuff that I can make anywhere. I can carry 2 knives and not tied to a studio practice. So these are the bookends of my current practice. This is the bookend of my current practice. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to.